If you started your application last year, it means that by now you should receive an admission decision, whether an approval, a denial, or you've been placed on a waiting list. If you are yet to apply, you are not late. Anytime you want to work on an application, there is always a university that you cannot meet their deadline. However, there is always a school that is admitting at any point in time that you want to begin your application. So you're not late if you are looking forward to applying for the fall semester, which begins in August 2026. Now, if your target is to apply for the 2027, this is the best time to start. Now, if you want to work on an application, the number of minutes it takes to work on an actual application would be like 30 to about 45 minutes. The work actually goes into trying to put your document together. So how does your CV look now? How do you even name your document? How do you start writing some statement of purpose? How do you search for the schools that are going to give you scholarship? How do you email them? So the work around you getting to figure out the specific school that will suit your needs, especially concerning scholarships, is what is most important. So if you want to target 2027, this is the best time to start. The name is The Fred Effect. This is the biggest study abroad content platform, and it's simple. What we do here is to invite individuals who have been through the study abroad process, so they share their journey, their experience, how they apply to the schools they are, the scholarships they are enjoying. It makes it easy if you also want to study abroad. We've been doing this for more than half a decade. We are about 60,000 on Facebook, about 180,000 on YouTube. TikTok is about 200,000, 30,000 on X, on Instagram, 50,000 on X. We are everywhere. You want to get in touch with the Fred Effect team, send us a direct message on Instagram. My co-host is in the UK. His name is Ben. Hi, Ben. How are you doing?
Yeah, Fred, I'm doing great. And your side?
I'm okay. Our guest
Yes,
today,
I'm doing great. And you?
Our guest today is Ness Kekeli. Hi, Ness. How you doing? Hi, Kekeli. How you doing? Your microphone is muted. You have to unmute it. Okay. So we've been having issues of Kelly.
Unfortunately, Fred, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so I can hear you.
Issues of Kelly. Unfortunately, Fred, can you hear?
Okay. So Kelly has been having some issues. Ben, how you doing? How you doing, Ben?
Fred, everything is fine with me here. Yeah, everything is fine with me here. And you?
Okay. Yes. I'm good. Let's see if we can bring Ness on. So our guest today has a qualification in nursing, and currently she's pursuing her master's degree in social work. How did she do it? Which universities did she apply to? What are the scholarships she's on? If you're a nurse watching us, if you know somebody who is a nurse, there's an opportunity for them as well. And necessarily, people think that you should have a certain background to pursue some master's degree. So if you have a bachelor's in accounting, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can only apply to masters in accounting. There is a way to switch, and that's what Ness Kekeli will be sharing with us today. Hi, Ness. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Finally, we get to go. You're looking good today. Thank you for agreeing to come on the podcast today. Let's start with a quick introduction. For people seeing your beautiful face for the first time, kindly introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Helen. My name is also Kekeli, so that's where the Kelly is from. I'm an international student in the state. I'm getting my master's in social work, as Fred already said. I had my bachelor's in nursing, so I practiced nursing for like a year, and then right after that, I traveled to get my master's. So that's a little bit about me.
So a lot of people would want to know why the switch from nursing to social work. Why not a master's in nursing? Why social work?
Okay, so I was doing national service, and during national service, I realized that I was always like looking beyond just the medications that I could give my patients. Mm-hmm. So I was looking beyond their physical health, and I was thinking about the social aspects of their life that could directly affect their health. So, for example, let's say that a patient came and was diabetic, and then we give them antidiabetics, but their nutrition is not good. Like they don't have money for food. So it's not about the medications we're giving them, it's because of the social aspects of their health. So I was like, I want to be more holistic. Like I was that nurse that was always using my money to pay for patients' bills, things like that. So I was like, there's more, there has to be more to this thing than just like doing physical things.
Right.
And that's why I started looking into like degrees that could make me learn more about the patient, just not like concentrating on their physical aspects. So that's why I decided to do social work. So like
A lot of people are rather gravitating towards nursing. Nursing is a STEM field coming to study in the US, which means that if you had a master's in nursing, it will give you 3 years of work. Is social work a STEM field?
no.
So why would somebody not move from, a STEM field to a non-STEM field? And we'll come to that. If you're just tuning in, we are speaking with Helen. This is the Study Abroad podcast. Now talk to us about that. When you wanted to apply to social work, was there anybody who were like, why are you leaving nursing to social work?
Well, I always get that. Like,
Yeah.
whenever I tell people, so I tend not to tell people that I'm a nurse, because like whenever I tell people that, oh, I'm a nurse, they're like, the money, like, why are you going into social work? Nursing is very lucrative, things like that. But for me, it was more of passion. It was more of like wanting to know more than like what I'm used to. And also like I was also interested in like the mental health aspect of things. So I was like, getting a social work degree will allow me, like if I wanted to do therapy, and I liked a little bit of politics too. So I was like, if I wanted to be a politician and like advocate for policy reforms, things like that, a social work degree like positions me better than just my nursing degree. So I was just like, it was more of passion, my future goals, like long term. It wasn't just about the money at this time. It was more of like what I was looking to do in the future.
What was your highest academic qualification? Which institution did you graduate from in Ghana?
I had a bachelor's and I went to the University of Ghana School of
Nursing. Okay. The only university in Ghana, right?
Of course.
Anyway.
Fred, did you go to you?
All right. So University of Ghana, and then studied in nursing. Now, when you graduated from the nursing degree, how did you think about switching to a different field, when a lot of people think that if I have a bachelor's in accounting, then I have to necessarily apply to master's in accounting, economics, master's in economics? Who gave you the idea that why don't you switch or apply to nursing? Why don't you apply to social work rather?
Yeah, so I obviously I had friends who were already in the States that like were already in school here and knew the programs that were available. So they told me about like social work, but also while in University of Ghana, I also had friends who were social workers. So like I was learning the things that social workers did and like how versatile the degree can be. So it was a bunch of like personal research and like people I knew telling me about different programs that are available to students to do. And just like you were saying about like accounting and economics, like an accounting person can become a social worker. It's just about like joining it together and making sure that you relate it very well. Let's say you were in an accounting field and you realize that there's a specific problem and it's about social aspects of the people you serve, like things like that. It's just about joining it. It doesn't necessarily have to be like you having a bachelor's in social work to be able to become a social worker.
What influenced your decision to want to study abroad? I'm done with bachelor's. I think when you have a bachelor's degree in nursing in Ghana, you have a higher position compared to somebody with a diploma, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing okay. What influenced your decision to want to study abroad?
Okay. I learned very early that traveling outside of your comfort zone. Now, background is that I was born and raised in the Volta region of Ghana. I lived my whole life in Volta, and then I only left home when I was going to high school, and even that was very difficult to convince my parents that I will be okay without them in high school.
Right.
So then when I was able to leave home and try to figure out life by myself, when I was going to high school, I was 13. So leaving home at 13 to figure out life by myself in a whole new town, even though it was the same like region, did something to my brain. And then I got into nursing school in Accra and I left Volta region to Accra. And then I lived in Accra for 4 years, like figuring out life by myself in
Mhm.
that region as well, it did something to my brain. So I knew that leaving your comfort zone to another whole environment where you're trying to figure out life by yourself, making new connections, having new relationships, like things like that, definitely has a way that it affects your perspective. So that was like my major reason for relocating. And of course, the other aspects is like money and like things like that. So it's different pegs to it, but yeah, those
Ha-
are the
ha-
basics.
Has your perspective changed, or is it changing?
Oh yes, in so many different ways.
Yeah,
In
I've
so
had
many,
opportunity to talk to a lot of people, and they give. I ask this same question. I love the reason everybody gives, but what you're telling me now is special. Like when you have, and I think people don't notice. You know, secondary school mostly when you are in your hometown, you leave to another city for secondary school. It changes you, especially when you come back to where you had your JHS. Like you look like special, some different kind of person. You know, when you leave to university and you come back, it's the same thing.
yeah.
I love that. Anyway, so my co-host is Ben. Arabi is also joining us. Remember that if you know you have family members abroad, they want to send you money, they want to help you pay your application fee, visa application fee, whatever. They can use Lemfi. Arabi, talk to us about Lemfi, and let's start with your questions for Kelly. So you'll be alternating the questions with Ben, and then I'll be coming in intermittently.
All right, thank you, Fred. Can you hear me? I had to move from my laptop to my phone because my laptop wasn't messing up. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead with me.
Okay, all right, sure. Thank you. Kelly, Kelly, you are welcome. My name is Arabi. I am the co-host of the Freddy Fred podcast, and yes, I'm here for. And again, I'm also here. I'm an ambassador for Lemfi. So, Lemfi is an app that helps you send money back home, Ghana. If you're in the UK, US, Canada, or European countries, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, and all other supporting African countries. So when you download Lemfi, you use my code ARABEE, ARABEE, and you send your first $100, Lemfi gives you a cashback of $20 for free. Your first $100 and above, Lemfi gives you $20 for free. So download Lemfi. If you are in Ghana watching, tell your family members, your friends, your lovers, your colleagues, wherever in these countries I mentioned, that is UK, Canada, USA, and then these European countries, to download Lemfi and use my code RB to send you money back home. Yeah, so that is Lemfi. And Lemfi has zero charges, no fee, zero transfer fees. Very fast when you send money.
All right.
Okay, so next, Kelly, let's move on to your journey in America and coming to us. I wouldn't even say my first master's, but I started with social work before I switched to higher ed. So we are going to talk more about social work and your specialization if you have chosen one yet and all of that. So before you came to US, I figured you were a nurse back in Ghana, and you have spoken about why you transitioned and all of that. So in your application, did you do a lot of application? Did you apply to a lot of universities or just one university?
I did 2 applications. I applied to one school that I don't want to mention. I mean, I don't even want to mention my current school.
Okay.
You can find it if you want to find it, but
No, you're
yeah, I don't
fine.
want to mention it.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I applied to 2 different schools and I got accepted into this one that I am currently in.
Okay. So did you pay admission fee for both of them?
The application fees, yes, I did
Mhm.
pay.
Okay. So you didn't do any, I mean, people talk about free application and all of that. You didn't do any of those free application schools?
A lot of people, like currently in my school, I do admissions and recruitment, so that perspective is also there. And I'll be talking from that perspective as well. I know as an international student, because the money is it's like when you're changing money from Ghana cedi to dollar, that's quite a lot. So a lot of people like will reach out asking for fee waivers. Now, I didn't use any of the fee waivers. I did not reach out to ask for fee waiver. And now that I do admissions and recruitment, I understand that that's very important, because most of the schools that are like R1 universities will not usually have fee waivers for just randomly have fee waivers. So if you are interested in like coming to a school that is very great at research and like has a name, kind of, it's important that you save money so you can pay for your application fee yourself. And that's, yeah, so I did not use fee waiver.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So how was your application process?
Ben, unfortunately, I cannot hear you.
I'm asking, how was your application process? Was it stressful? You can't still hear me? Okay, so as usual, this is the biggest study abroad podcast that we are having this and every Saturday. So welcome to today's edition. We have a very special guest in our midst. She was a nurse who finally transitioned to become a social worker. So we are going to have an interesting conversation today. So let's try as much as possible to stay tuned, and I'm sure that it's going to be a very, very nice conversation today, and hopefully we are going to learn a lot from Miss Kekeli. All right. I'm sure there's a kind of internet disruption, but things will be fine. Arabi, are you fine now?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I mean, today is, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know what's happened to our internet today, but
today
got
is
it.
today, but we will be fine.
We've got this. We've got this.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've talked about the universities. Obviously, you don't want to.
So she's not on at the moment. So let's wait for her.
Oh,
So,
because I'm like, I can't see her. Today's internet is drilling everybody. Myself. Yeah.
So,
I get it.
Arabi, I think I have a simple question that maybe we can deliberate on whilst we are waiting for
Sure.
Kekeli.
Mhm.
Yes. So, do you see studying abroad as a choice or necessity? So please, the audience, you can also put your view. It is an opinion, so you can share your view in the comment box as well.
Do I see study abroad as a choice or necessity?
Yes.
I would definitely say it's a choice, because not everybody would want to study abroad. However, if you have the opportunity to study abroad, take it. And it also depends on what you are doing back home and the kind of assistantship or the admission that you've gotten. Because sometimes if you are doing well back home and maybe your assistantship is not full, you have to pay yourself and all of that. I mean, staying back home, you have a good job, you have a good family, you are doing well, I would say maybe stay with that. But then we always say that you don't know what is on the other side of life until you take the risk. So I would say it's a choice. But if it's presented to you, or if you are ready, take the risk and go for it. But to call it a necessity, as in those who are not traveling abroad are not going to make it, or they are not going to, they're not going to be fulfilled. It's very relative. But I would say that it's a choice. And if it's presented to you, please take it. Don't say no.
All right. Thank you for your opinion. All right. Ms. Kekeli, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
me
so
and my
sorry
audience want to.
I don't know what's going on.
Yes.
You're fine. I also have the same thing.
My audience and I wanted to find out, how was your application process? Did you see it as something stressful?
I will not say my application process was stressful, but I would say it entailed a lot. So it's a lot of like asking for recommendations, like writing your admissions essay. The application itself is very it's like a 15-minute thing. Once you get on the portal and you create your account, it's like 15 minutes and you're done. But the most important part of it is that uploading your documents and getting the recommendations. I already had my transcript requested, so that wasn't very tedious for me. and my school allowed us to like use unofficial transcripts, so I could just go on my portal and download my transcripts from University of Ghana portal and upload that. So that wasn't very tedious. Also, I always talk on my page about how getting recommendations starts from somewhere. It's not just when you start applying that you start looking for recommendations. It starts from like building relationships. So that's one of the things I was very intentional about, is that when I was going through school, I built relationship with my lecturers. So it was very easy to just send them a WhatsApp message and say, hey, I'm putting in an application. I need your recommendation. And they're like, okay, if it's Helen, we are doing it. So it's not like it wasn't stressful. It just took some time to put together all the documents, especially the essay was the big part of it, but the rest of it wasn't a lot.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Before Arabi comes in, I want to find out, because you touched on the relationship, I want to know, how did you manage to build a good relationship with your lecturers or professors whilst you're on campus? I mean, the standard you said, so that we can also learn from your example, because we still have a lot who are in school who wish to study abroad. And you know, one thing with the Ghana system is, at times you can have in a class 200 students to one lecturer, and sometimes building this relationship becomes difficult. So how can you help us with maybe your little experience so that we can have that good rapport with the lecturers?
Yeah, I think we had over 100 students in my class, in my nursing school class. So that's like, the class size is huge, right? But as a student, one of the things that will make you stand apart in class is when you answer questions. So before the class, make sure you are reading materials so that you have something to say. Even if you don't like, there is no wrong answer. Trying that, one, builds your confidence, makes you noticeable. So making sure you answer questions in class. Another thing I did was take up leadership positions. So in my school, for the University of Ghana Nursing and Midwifery Students Association, I was the general secretary. So once you are a general secretary, it means that you always have conversations with lecturers, because like you are kind of the liaison between the lecturers and the students. So to make sure that communication gap is not there, you are always having conversation with lecturers, like the dean. You are talking to them about things that relate to students. Like if you have programs, you have to talk to the dean, you have to invite the lecturers. So things like that made me noticeable. But also making sure that I pay attention in class. Another aspect for me was volunteering. So if we had something that everybody needed to do in class, but they need a leader, I will volunteer to do it. If my professors are teaching another class that's lower than me and they need someone to like help them, maybe mark question papers, like things like that, I will volunteer to do it. So my classmates called me Oprega, but I knew what I was doing. I was very intentional about building those relationships because I knew I will need them in the future. So I wasn't just the regular student, go to class, leave class, not talk to anybody kind of student. I was a student that paid attention in class, read before classes, made sure I contributed what I knew, and also volunteered a lot. So that was very helpful.
All right, thank you. Arabi?
I mean, listening to what you're saying, it's like you're describing me. I always tell people will call you Puskaya, Konongakaya. I had Puskaya, I had Ajiman, I had Ojokobone. Like I had a lot of names and I didn't care. And I was telling people that, the more you call me those names, it's me, I don't feel it doesn't sound like an insult to me. It boosts me. It let me do more. You get it? So when people call you those names, it means you're doing something extraordinary. Right. You're not being the ordinary student. And thank you for talking about being noticeable, doing something that makes you stand out. Because as an institution, a bigger institution like University of Ghana, UCT, and all of these government institutions, we are a large community. And then you have to be intentional with standing out. And other than that, you would just be a regular 4-year student, just come in and go and nobody would notice you. Mm-hmm. So let's even go back to you talking about the fact that the admission process, filling the admission portal is just 15 minutes. So people are like, if it's just 15 minutes, why do they say the admission process is difficult? Is it just the 15 minutes sitting down putting in everything in a portal, or the pre-preparation stage that makes it difficult? That is relatively.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying that it starts from somewhere. It doesn't start when you decide to put in an application. It starts from, like, it's a lot of backstage work. That's, I mean, the process itself, the application itself doesn't take much time, but the time that you have to use to prepare, to put together your resume, to write your admissions essay, to request for recommendations, to even build a resume that will give you admission. So, like I was saying recently, telling people on my page that you can build your resume in a year to suit a particular program that you're interested in doing. So all of that is what takes time, but the application process itself doesn't take a lot of time.
So you are talking about, if you are given a tree to cut down, you have to shape in your axe very well so that it will take you few minutes to just cut the tree down. So your preparation stage is very important in the study abroad journey.
Yes.
Is that what you are trying to say?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. All right. So, listeners, viewers, whatever you are doing, if you are listening, if you are looking at us, I just want you to know that, yes, Nurse Kelly is saying that your preparation process, do not take it easy. Even though it's going to take you about 15 to 20 minutes in the application portal, your preparation is very important in this journey. Make sure that your resume suits the program that you want to apply to, and then start building your relationship with your professors or your lecturers as early as possible. Be an outstanding student. I don't know if maybe your school, you have just 20 people in class, so it's easy for lecturers to notice you. But I don't think there's any university in Ghana that has 20 students in the classroom. No, I'm not sure. So yeah, thank you, Nurse Kelly. Okay, so let's talk about your interview. Now you put in the application, you have so okay, even before your interview, did you get fully funded offer? What was your offer like?
So for my school, the admission doesn't come with funding.
Okay.
You get admitted first, and then they give you funding information. So before I applied, I had attended a lot of information sessions that the school hosts, and those information sessions gave me the info I needed about whether the admissions came with funding or it did not come with funding, or what I'm supposed to do. So my admission did not come with funding, and I got admitted before I had to apply for funding.
Okay, we are still going to talk about your funding process, but you talked about information session. If this is my first time listening to you, what is information session, and why should I be interested in attending information session?
Okay, so information sessions are usually like open house events that are hosted by the school in the program that you are looking to apply for. And these are, it depends on the school and their specific timings that they do these things. But my school in particular, like, we do information sessions like in every semester. We try to do like 5 of those information sessions for prospective students. So you go on the school's website, you reach out to maybe the admissions and recruitment coordinator and find out if they do open house events or they do info sessions that are online, and then they will send you a Zoom link and you just join the Zoom. That's all it is. But those meetings you get the opportunity to talk to faculty members, you get the opportunity to ask the questions that you may have, and all the funding information, things like that. They will share that in those info sessions.
Oh, okay.
So
I want to quickly add to a question to that information session. So if we are to come on the call, is there any expectation, like you being part of the committee, do you expect anything from us even before we join the call, or it's just a normal, you are just waiting for our questions and that is all? Or to put it different, what makes students stand out from your point of view after he or she has booked, you have finished with the information section with that student, so that at least those of us watching live can pick some few hints from it?
So for the information sessions, we don't necessarily have any expectations from you. We are not even expecting that you apply to our program when you join our info sessions. We only want to give you information so that if you decide to put in an application with us, I mean, we're always hoping that students will apply to our schools, right? But we only want to give you information so that you're applying in the right direction and you're not making the basic mistakes that people will make. So if you eventually decide to choose us, then you have the tools that you need to make your application compelling. Because in those meetings, we talk about like the essay, what our requirements are, like exactly what you, and another thing is we want to make sure that you meet the GPA requirements as well. So in those information sessions, we share that so that if you don't qualify for our program, you don't put in an application. We don't want to stress you. It's a lot of money. We understand that. So we want to make sure that you have all the tools you need to put in a compelling application one and to know whether or not you qualify for the program.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Arabi, you want to come in?
Sure. Okay, so now we know what information session is and its benefits. Let's move on to your funding. So when you got your admission without funding, what did you do? Did you secure funding after?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you got your admission without funding, what did you do? Because there are a lot of people watching us, listening to us who have admission without funding. What did you do? What extra thing did you put in place for you to get the funding after you got your admission?
Okay, so before I even applied, I asked that how does funding work? And I was told that they have different opportunities for students, but you only get more information after you are admitted into the program. So once I got my admission notice, I sent an email. I was like, hey, I just got admitted into the program. I want to find out what funding opportunities are available and how the application process works. So that email, they gave me a response, obviously, and they said that they were going to send me more information. So then they sent the information to everybody that was admitted. So it's like all the GA positions that were available that you could possibly apply for and like the requirements. And they sent an application in addition to that. So you need to put in another application. That application also required recommendations, right? So yeah. So that's a whole different application process from what you did to get admission. So after I applied, then that was when I was called for an interview.
Okay. I understand you don't want to talk about your school. I respect that, but would you want to talk about your office that you got the admission, your assistantship from?
Yeah, my assistantship is in my school, in the School of Social Work. So
Okay.
I assist the admissions and recruitment coordinator with everything admissions and recruitment. So if students reach out for the first time requiring information, they will talk to me first. I give them the information. If there are information sessions, I join them. I assist with the information sessions. My position also allows me to travel to different schools to make presentations, like different colleges who do not have graduate programs, to make presentations about grad school and our program, things like that. So that's what I do. That's my GA position.
Oh, thank you for letting us know. So now you did your academic interview, academic application, then you come to your assistantship application requiring a different recommendation letter. Did you use the same recommenders for your academic aspects for the assistantship aspect as well, or you used different people?
No, I used different people. The graduate assistantship position recommendations it depends on what is wanted in that recommendation. And for GA positions, the recommendations wants to highlight your work ethics, like whether you are an effective team person or like if you had good communication skills, things like that. And usually your professors they haven't worked with you. They have taught you, but they haven't worked with you. So they are unable to speak to your work ethics. So I did not use my lecturers for my GA recommendations. I used the boss that I was working under as when I was doing my national service. So I used my nurse manager. So they are able to talk about like my work ethics, whether I work effectively in teams, whether I communicated good, and things like that.
Oh, okay.
That's a good point there.
Yes,
because I mean, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Rabi, continue. When you finish, I will drop in one.
Okay, thank you.
Question
Sure, thank you.
that.
That's a very interesting thing to know, and it's a good point. Getting to know who to use for what. It's a very important skill, because if you had used your professors for GAs, whatever recommendation letters they're going to write.
Kelly, can you?
Ben, your line is breaking a little bit.
Arabi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's breaking a bit. Okay. Hello, Ben. Okay, I think he's there. All right. So just as I was saying, it's very, very important to know what or who to use for what, because if you had used your professors for your GA, they would have, of course, given you a recommendation letter, but they wouldn't have spoken well about your work ethics, about your teamwork, about your leadership skills, about your communication style and all of that. They would have just spoken about your maybe academic aspect, your brilliance, your all of that. So it's very important. What about people who don't even have one recommenders? You have I am assuming that you had a lot for you to have that luxury of splitting who to use for what. What about people who don't have anybody or limited people? What advice would you give them?
Honestly, I always tell people that relationships matter than you think. Like, social capital is something that you do not know that you need until you have it. And so building relationships with people is what gave me the luxury of like having different people to talk to regarding recommendations. And one of the ways that I got that opportunity is because I volunteered a lot. Like, I was always looking for opportunities to touch people's lives through volunteerism. And I feel like that's one thing that our generation lacks, is that every time they want to make money from things, it's not everything you have to make money from. Sometimes you just need to volunteer, and that gives you some form of social capital that you do not know that you need until you have it. So volunteer, that's how you meet people to be able to write recommendations for you. And number two, yeah, I feel like that's it. If I wanted someone to write me a recommendation regarding work, I needed to work with a person, right? So if I got the opportunity to volunteer with somebody, that's counted as work. So then the person can write me a recommendation. So it really just depends on you being available to do things, working, looking for opportunities to volunteer and things like that. Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
So you do for me, I do for you. Basically, you do for me, I do for you. You don't expect that you do nothing for professors, you do nothing for lectures, and when it's your turn for recommendation letters, you just go to them and say, "Hi, say I need a recommendation." I don't think they'll also do that, because if they look back, what benefit or what value have you added to their lives? So if you are watching us, if you are reading wherever you are, we just want to let you know that it is a relationship issue we are talking about here. You don't weep from where you haven't sowed. So that's it. Yeah. So Ben, come in.
All right. So if you're just tuning in, we're still on the study about podcasts with the Fred Effect. So at the moment, if you are watching us, it means that you are either on Facebook, YouTube, or X. Please click on the subscribe button. Be part of the family. We've been speaking with Ness Kelly. She's looking all demure and putting pressure on us on our own podcast, but we'll take up like that, from nursing to social work. So if you have any background, it means that you can also do it. And she's given us the ideas, the skills, and then the information she used to work on these applications that landed her an admission and then a scholarship to pursue her master's in the US. So please follow, and if you do have questions, you type them in the comment section. Later on in the podcast, we'll be picking people on. If you have questions for Kelly, she can be responding to them. But Kelly, you have a social media platform where you've been sharing these ideas, and especially as an insider person working with admissions, talk to us about your platforms. How do people get to follow you?
Okay. The only platform that I share my insights on is TikTok, and the name is Ness Kelly. So if you type nurse and then Kelly, Kelly, you should be able to find that platform. I have an Instagram, is Helen Kekeli, Helen_Kekeli, but I don't post my insights on there. I only post my pictures.
All right. So when people normally want to, make some of these applications, sometimes they have challenges with making payments for maybe West evaluation, the application fee, and all that. The Fred Effect team can support you if you are making any payment for your visa application, your service fee, if you want to make service fee payment, and you need somebody in the US to help you do that. We'll help you. We can do that on your behalf. Just send us a message on Instagram. We'll be happy to assist you. So now, initially, you can only pay your visa application fee on at GT Bank. You need to go there physically. The unfortunate thing is that GT Bank they don't have branches all over the country. So when I was in Bole Bamboy, I needed to travel all the way to Techiman, because all the way in Brunga, Techiman is the only place that you can see, you can have a GT Bank branch. Now you can pay online. So if you need assistance in making that payment, send us an Instagram message. We'll be happy to assist you. If your school requires an enrollment deposit, sometimes maybe it's PayPal, Cash App, whatever platform. Unfortunately, that platform is not available in your home country. Link up with us via Momo. We will help you to pay. Those who are registering for GRE, GMAT, if you are applying for bachelor's and you have to sit for SAT or ask your college board to send your SAT to your school, we can help you. Some people pay fees, and getting the CD from their from Ghana to here a bit challenging. Link up with the Fred Effect team. Service fee, tuition deposit, and especially the transcript evaluation and all that. We'll be happy to support you to do that. Remember, the Fred Effect team also has a collaboration with Argo Visa. Argo Visa is a team of ex-visa officers, and they have been approving, denying people's visas, and they can help you prepare, especially looking through your DS-160, and have a one-on-one mentorship or mock session with you, so that you can prepare very well for your interview if you are working on this process. Use the link I am sharing on the screen to schedule an appointment with Argo Visa. So rb.gy/KU72VB. You can use that to schedule an appointment with Argo Visa. All right.
All right. Kelly, please, can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So we want to know, I completed university 10 years ago. I'm doing application. Now you having the privilege to work with admission committee. Do you think a recommendation from such a person can really impact my application?
Okay. So some schools will put a caveat that if you have been out of school for a long time, you're no longer in contact with your professors, you can use an employer's recommendation, right? So it really just depends on where you are in the application process and what the requirements are. But some schools will allow you to use like employer-based recommendation letters for your application. But sometimes they'll just say, oh, in your essay states that. So depending on what they want, sometimes they're like, oh, one from your professor, one from an employer, one from a volunteer. So if you're not able to use the recommendations that they clearly stated in their requirements, then you just put in your essay that I did not use my professor because I've been out of school for a long time and I'm no longer in touch with my professors, and that's absolutely okay.
Oh, okay. Then the follow-up question will be, I work in a smaller village where my employer has no institutional email address. I want to travel. I need a recommendation letter. He's the only person I know. Can I still use his or a normal email address without having the institutional email address? And does it really impact my chances of getting maybe GA or admission?
Okay, you can use the person's normal Gmail address. I know some companies don't have letterheads, but if they have a stamp, then after they are done writing the recommendation, they can stamp it and then you scan it. So that looks more authentic, because there's fraud everywhere. People can just write themselves a recommendation and claim that somebody wrote it for them. So those are the kind of things that admissions and recruitment coordinators will want to avoid when they ask you for institutional emails. But it's not like necessarily, and most of the essays will have an addendum session where you can put all this there, that, oh, hey, I work in a very remote area. We do not have a letterhead, but this is a recommendation. It's authentic. It's from this person. And if you need further information, you can contact them here. So you put their email, their phone number, things like that, so that if they have any reservations about your recommendation, they can be able to reach out to those people and confirm that they actually wrote your recommendation and they are the people who you said they are. So things like that are helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much. So my final question on the recommendation would be like this. I'm sure you have already highlighted some of them, but you didn't really go into details. So when you see a recommendation letter as part of admissions coordinator or your admission coordination, if you see a recommendation letter, what makes it like inform your decision in giving admission to someone? Or as long as it's a recommendation letter, you can base your decision on?
So I want to state that I don't directly admit people. So
okay.
I'm not like, I don't review people's recommendations. It's not part of my description.
Okay.
I only look at it to be sure that there is a recommendation in that application and then forward it to the admissions committee to review. But from what I have seen in my experience, I can tell you that there's a difference between recommendations that are like generic and then recommendations that are tailored to you and the program. So sometimes some schools have like, I mean, I know that the University of Ghana School of Nursing has like a generic recommendation that they give like everyone who is requiring a recommendation. So if you reach out to a lecturer that is not very close to you, they will say, hey, reach out to the school's administration and pay this amount of money, they'll give you a recommendation. So those kind of generic recommendations are what I'm talking about. Now, that's generic recommendation and a recommendation that a professor that knows me and have worked with me and have volunteered for and have taught me, a recommendation that that person will write for me will be more tailored and will describe me better than a recommendation that's generic for everybody. So while those generic recommendations are not, I'm not necessarily saying that you cannot use them. I'm saying that if you get somebody who knows you to write you a tailored recommendation, is more effective, because then they can speak to your abilities, they can speak to your skills, they can say this and this is what this person is made of, and they will be a good fit for your program, and they will be a good fit for the work that you want them to do as in GA position. So things like that.
All right, thank you. Arabi, you want to come in?
Yeah, Ben, thank you. Yeah, so I really love the answers Kekali is giving, and the accents.
Yeah, they are very nice answers. I think this our audience today will have a lot to go home with.
Yeah, I mean, the people who are starting the application.
And you know, she's very calm and composed. It's like, hey, this lady.
Okay, now I'm shy.
Oh no. Take all the accolades. You deserve it. You deserve
the way she's articulating the words,
Thank you.
Keep quiet.
How many years have you been here? I love your accent. Anyway, so let's move on. Now you've had your admission, you have your assistantship, you are ready for your visa interview. How did your visa interview go? Do you remember the questions you were asked? Oh, you do? Okay. So tell us, how did it go?
My visa interview was, I would say, was unconventional because I got asked only 2 questions. They asked for my documents as they would ask everybody's documents. I gave my I-20 and she was like, oh, you have full funding? And I was like, yeah, I do. And she was like, but there's a deficit of $2,000. Who is paying for that? And I said, my sister is paying for it. And she was like, okay, your visa is approved.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Wait, are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm Christian.
What prayer did you pray? Please give it to us. What type of prayer did you pray? Let me give it to my audience, because
Yeah, I did pray. I prayed. I just told God that I didn't want stress. So I just wanted 2 questions and that's it. I even wrote it in my diary before the interview. I was like, God, please, I beg, I want 2 questions. And then I went and they asked me 2 questions and gave me my visa. So it was definitely some kind
You
of
specifically told God you want 2 questions,
Yeah.
and they asked you 2 questions.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's even talk about the spirituality or the spiritual aspect of the study abroad journey. Do you believe it's equally important whilst you are preparing your documents and everything, the prayer, the spiritual aspect of study abroad? Would you want to talk about that?
Okay, yeah, of course. I am Christian, so I may be biased. I'm not like I'm also a social worker, so I understand that we have to respect people's religions and people's views of life and their beliefs and things like that. But I would tell you that my religion works for me. So this is my personal testimony. I'm not in any way telling you that you have to pray the prayers that I prayed to get the results that I got. But it's my personal testimony. You can do with that information whatever you want to do with it. But yes, I believe that the spiritual aspect matters a lot in this whole process. I believe that there's a God kind of favor that makes all the difference. What will make you stand out is not just because you have the skills, because there are 1,001 people who have the same skills as you, the same documents as you, the same, posture or anything as you. But I believe that favor makes all the difference. So definitely there's a spiritual aspect to it, and prayer works in that regard a lot.
I, as a Christian, agree 100% with you, because I've always said that this journey made me understand that horses and chariots are prepared for battle, but victory definitely comes from the Lord. So, as also a Christian, kind of biased, I'm not also asking you to do what we did, but telling you that the prayers work in this journey. It really does work. So, when you were asked just these 2 questions and you were told your visa has been approved, obviously you were happy, but run us through that 20 seconds ish after. How was it?
Okay, so before I went for the interview, I went with my brother, and my brother prayed for me. So I was like just waiting to get the visa so I can run out and tell. And mind you, nobody in my family knew that I was going through this process before. It was just my brother. So I was like ready to just run out to tell my brother that, hey, the prayer worked, the visa is approved. And interestingly, I was the first person that day to get interviewed. So I was in front of the queue. So I hadn't seen anybody's visa being denied before me. So I feel like that also gave me some kind of confidence. Like the way I walked to her, she knew that I was here for business. So she just gave me the thing. But when she gave it to me, I was so excited. Like I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to walk. I was so happy. It was just I can't describe it, but it was a good feeling.
I remember mine when I was also asked, I think 2 questions, no 3. So when I was given, I was told your visa has been approved, I also went to my sister, and everybody knows my big sister is my everything. So I went to my big sister. I just ran out, and everybody was looking at. I was just shouting. I know there's a lot of people out there. Some are nervous, waiting for their people, and all of that. So my sister said, you know what, let's go grab Wachi as Rock's watching. Oh, we just ran. Like that feeling, I just pray in everybody listening to us who is yet to go for the interview experience that feeling.
Yeah.
I have been on both sides, kind of denied and gotten the approval. So I know how it feels either way. And I would say if you are approved, the feeling, I mean, when you go back that night, you feel like, so it's like I'm going to US.
Yeah.
So it's becoming real, oh Charlie. It's a dream come true. That feeling is very, 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 very good, and it's fulfilling because it's tiring. I must admit, with this study, the whole study abroad thing. So getting to the end of the tunnel and actually finding or seeing a result to all this struggle, it's a very good, it's a very good feeling. Yeah. Okay, so let's move to everything. You are excited. You have your visa and all of that. Obviously, it comes at a cost. How much was everything, if you'd want to share with us?
I don't have on top of my head all the money that I spent. But of course the application fee was like $65 or $70 at the time. And then after I got admitted, they needed my official transcript. So like applying for that, for it to be sent through the University of Ghana, because my school required you to send the official transcript directly from the school. So that took me, I don't know how much that cost, but a little over 500, I think.
$500?
CDs, no CDs.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, then I got my funding. I didn't have to pay any money whatsoever at the funding stage. Once I got my funding and I got my I-20, the next thing that I needed to pay for, I think, was the visa application fee and then the service fee. And that's around, everything together is around, I don't know. The visa application fee was like $185, and then the service fee was like $350. I don't know if it's still, I don't know. But yeah, that's how much it costs. And then of course buying your provisions and things that you want to bring, and then buying your flight ticket. I feel like the most expensive thing that I spent on was on my flight, because my visa interview was late July and I traveled early August, like the first week in August. So from getting, and I was waiting to get my visa before I booked a flight. So from getting my visa to booking a flight was like 1 week difference. And that's why my flight was almost $2,000. So that's just one-way flight was almost $2,000. So I feel like that's the what I spent more money on than the rest of the process.
So to those watching you, should they get all the money intact before they start the process?
I don't think so. If you have money for application, I think you should put in the application first, and then the other things will come later. I mean, again, I'm Christian, so I believe in divine provision. So then, yeah, the other things will come later.
So somebody shouldn't look at, hey, I don't have $2,000. Mr. Kelly says you pay $2,000. I don't have $2,000 for flight to. So if you have that you're 50, that you're 30, that 35-ish, $70 for your application, start with application. The Lord will provide.
Yeah, and I didn't pay that $2,000 out of pocket, and I didn't let anybody in my family pay either. Like I called a friend of mine who was already in the States. I was like, hey, I have to book a flight. And she booked the flight for me and said, whenever you come, just pay me. Like, so it just still boils down to like relationships, having the right people in your corner, right? So yeah, shout out to you, Jom. I truly appreciate that. I will forever.
We truly appreciate that. I would always say, and I have said it on other platform, that Fred booked my ticket for me. He just said, hey, I know your story. And I also had my approval in late July, and I had to be here first week of August. So it was also I think mine was 1,008.
Yeah.
Very expensive. So Fred said, you know what? Let's book it. So the Freddy Fair, shout out to the Freddy Fair. I know you are. Obviously, I'm not saying it because this is platform, but I've said it on other platforms that Fred did it for me, and I'm super grateful every day. Yeah. All right. So you've had your visa, everything is booked, and so when you sit back today, what do you think is the hardest part of your entire journey?
It was leaving my comfort zone. So I mean, after national service, between May and like June, July, I already got a remote job. Like I was teaching nursing to some students. I was getting paid 2,000 cedis to teach from home, like things like that. So like I was already comfortable, so to say, and then like just leaving family behind. Family was a big one because I just had my little niece. My sister just had a baby, and she was like 3 months old. I was so happy to have her, and just like leaving all of that. And also my parents are older adults. My dad is almost 85. So like just leaving my family to move was hard. It was the hardest part for me.
And how have you coped so far?
It's finding community here was a big part of my coping. I feel like in the social work program, people learn about diversity. So I had community of people who just really like were interested in making sure that I was comfortable in my new environment. And that's one of the things I'm grateful for, is that my classmates, I have a friend group, wonderful people who made sure that my life was comfortable here. But also, like, I found a church. That's another community that I have that was helpful. And also just trying to stay in touch with family back home, communicating all the time, calling them, finding out how everybody's doing. It's my way to go.
I'd want to ask you what you miss about Ghana, but obviously it looks like it's your family.
Yes, it's my family, and most my little niece Anaya. I miss Anaya every single day.
Yeah, but I mean, Rich Auntie, please send money to them. Use Lemfi, download Lemfi. Use my code RB ARABEE. So, hey, you said she's Nanaya.
Anaya.
Anaya, okay. Hey, Anaya, Rich Auntie is gonna send you money via Lemfi using my code. So when Rich Auntie sends you $100, Rich Auntie is going to get $20 cash back. She can send it again, so you get $120. Hey, Anaya, yeah, I've spoken on your behalf. Okay, very soon. Rich Auntie Kelly is going to send you money.
Yes, yeah.
All right, Ben, we'd want to come in.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Kekeli, in fact, you've really opened our eyes, but I think we still have some small dust you have to clear for us.
Okay.
Do you think the social work course is an area that we can consider, especially as new applicants? And are there chances for us to secure full funding? Because, the funding, or if there's no funding, and sometimes it demotivates us some more.
Yeah. I will say it depends, because it depends on your qualifications. It depends on how well you link your past experiences to what you are about to do. And it depends on the opportunities that are available at the time you're applying. When I was applying, within the School of Social Work, the only position that was available was the one I got. And you can imagine how competitive that can be, right? So it depends on how you are able to communicate and link your past experiences to the job description and things like that. So it's a lot of different moving parts that you have to consider. But I always say that find out, ask first before you put in an application. Social work is a great program. It's already markets like this job market for it once you're done with school, because it's very versatile. You can do anything: clinical, therapy, things like that, policy, advocacy, different things that you can do with a social work degree. So it's definitely something you should consider if you qualify for it. But when it comes to funding, it can be a little tough, because it's not like a research heavy program that you have to, like, there are research assistantship positions, or like there are different fundings that professors in the department might have to be doing research that will give you like RTA positions. And I feel like RTA positions are the easiest, like are more than GTA positions. So yeah, it definitely really depends on like the skills that you have, and if you're able to connect well with the people and qualify for the opportunities that they have available.
Yeah, so what skills should I have?
So that will also depend on the job description. So I mean, some of my classmates have funding opportunities in other departments that they are teaching, right? So if in that case, you need like a teaching experience to be able to qualify for that. I am doing a lot of like communication, designing, technical skills, like doing systems, managing a whole admissions system, like online IT things. And you will think that as a nurse, like how do you know IT, right? Because my job is technology heavy. But one of the things that I said in my interview that helped me, I think, is that in nursing we do documentation. We document on a computer. So we know about IT, like we are tech savvy, right? So that can translate directly. That's why I'm saying that whenever you are doing interview for GA positions and things like that, you make sure that the skills that you already have, you are able to link them to the current job description. Because somebody who is a nurse will not think about documentation as a tech savvy way to like present yourself in an interview position, right? But I mean, I document every day. I use a computer. So that shows that I can do basic things. And even the things that I don't know how to do. One of the things I also do is managing the school social media account. I manage their LinkedIn, like I create content, I post the content, I make designs on Canva. These are things that I had never done before, but I was ready to learn. And I clearly stated that in my interview that, hey, I don't have these skills necessarily right now, but I'm ready to learn. But here are the skills I have that I think are transferable. So making sure that you're able to communicate that is very important.
Oh, that's interesting. So in the UK here, the social work course is one of the professional course that is easy for you to secure sponsorship after completing this course. And so the social course is such that some universities have programmed it in such a way that the moment you complete, the social work body can now give you a license to operate fully in the UK. And in doing so, they give you sponsorship. So CO, a certificate of sponsorship for you to stay in the UK and work freely. Is that the case in US?
So yeah, I mean, I will not say entirely yes. It's not like once you get a social work degree, you can get a green card or something, you know. Immigration is a little but yeah, there is a social work body, the National Association of Social Workers, and it's a professional degree. So once you're done, you can write a licensing exams and get licensed, and that's how you get a job. So it's from there, like other things come after that. But yeah, you can get licensed after you get your social work degree.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So far, so good. What has been your entire experience in this new social work field? And then trying to compare it to the nursing small so that we see the actual balance, how you are coping.
Yes. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. I think that social workers think differently. They don't think like nurses. I've been to nursing school and I'm doing social work. I know the difference. The social workers think differently from nurses. When a nurse is looking at you, and you come to the hospital, the first thing they're thinking about is, okay, what are their vital signs and what medications do I think I can give to make sure that you are okay? But some people don't need medications. Some people need communication. Some people just need a listening ear. Some people just need a little tap on the shoulder. Some people just need a hug and they are good, right? So it's not about like what medication can I give? It's about what other aspects of the person's health, like we call it the social determinants of health. So what other aspects of your life is there to affect your health, and how can I solve that? So when a social worker is looking at you, they're looking at your house. Are there steps to enter your house? Do they have rails? Are you safe in your home? Is there any form of abuse that's going on? Like they're thinking more holistic than just the physical aspects of your health. So that's the difference. Is that the social worker is looking at you holistically, like what's your family looking like? Is there any problem in your family that could possibly be affecting your health? Is there, like, do you have the resources that you need? Do you have food? Do you have housing? Do you have clothes? Things like that. Are those things affecting your health, or is it just the medical aspect? So it's the more integrated outlook on the patient than just their physical health. So that's the difference.
Okay, but the long and short is that they are all health professional courses, right? Or programs.
Yes. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do health, but I relate it to health because I'm a nurse, obviously. But you don't necessarily have to do health. Social work is very versatile. You can do anything with it. You can do, I mean, anything you can think of, because in the school, there's a school social worker, in government, in policy making, in advocacy, in non-profit. So anywhere you can think about, there is a social worker there. So it just depends on your interest and what you want to do with your degree.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. You know, when I was in Ghana, anytime I hear about social work, my thinking is on those on the street. So, and I really lost passion for it. But after arriving in UK, I realized that. So, as you are mentioning, there are a lot of indicators. Housing, even the number of people sleeping in a room is a social issue because they believe that is a, in a particular house, if like you have more than 2 or 3 people staying in that house, then it can create overcrowding, and that one can lead to suffocation, and somebody can lose his life. But back home, I always think that all the social work, the activities to work on these street children and other stuff. So I couldn't really appreciate it. Were you thinking that before, or like having entered, do you think that there are some misconception that you can clear for us about the social work?
Yes. I mean, of course, when I was in Ghana, I did not know that social work was this broad. Um, I I mean, I only knew that social workers worked at the social welfare department, and sometimes in hospitals you don't even meet a social worker. I did my national service at, do I want to mention that, at the VRA hospital in Akosombo, and the VRA hospital had a social worker, and I feel like that's just one of the many hospitals that I had done my clinicals when I was in nursing school in different hospitals, and I had never met a social worker before. So it was only in VRA, and of course VRA is not like a regular like it's not, I don't know how to put it, but yeah. So VRA had a social worker, but I hadn't seen any social worker in the different hospitals that I had done clinicals in, right? So I definitely did not think that social work was this versatile until I traveled here. And then I saw the different things that social workers do, and I was like, oh, so it's not just being in the social welfare department, or like, yeah, things like that. So yeah, there are definitely
Oh,
different stereotypes about social work, but it's it's not what you think. And also because like in Ghana, some of the things that we think are problems here, they don't see as a problem. We don't see as a problem in Ghana, like what you were talking about the number of people sleeping in one room and whether or not there are stairs in the house, or like things like that. We don't see them as a problem in Ghana. Like nobody cares about how many people are sleeping in your room. But here it's a big deal. Like, so things like that, yeah, are stereotypes that I only got like a bigger perspective on when I came here.
oh, okay. That's an interesting one. Arabi, would you want to come in?
Sure, Ben. Thank you.
Arabi is never tired of talking. Oh.
You know, right?
We can't hear you. I can't hear you, Arabi. I don't know.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear Arabi.
Oop. Unfortunately, I
Oh.
can't.
Oh no. Can you hear me now? Oh no. Then Ben, you have to take it. Maybe I'll come back. I don't know
can
why.
hear better, so I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, you can't hear me at all?
Okay. So
Okay, then let's Ben take it. Ben, go ahead. I'll come back.
all right.
Ben,
So Kelly, I think
Ben, can
I
you hear
asked
me?
this question. Yeah, I can hear you clearly, Arabi.
I can't.
Okay, Ben, take it from there.
Oh, okay. No problem. All right. So I just want to know, I asked Arabi at the beginning of the session, do you think studying abroad, in your opinion, is a choice or necessity?
I think it's a choice. Because it's not everybody that's cut out to do it, and it's not everybody that has the interest in doing it. So I'm not necessarily thinking that everybody, I mean, everybody does not have to come study abroad to make it or like look successful or be fulfilled, things like that. No, it's definitely a choice. But I will always encourage people to do it because of the perspective change. I believe it does something to your brain. Yeah. So if you get the opportunity to do it, of course, by all means, do it. But it's a choice. it depends on you and what your goals are and who you want to be and things like that. So it's not necessarily that you have to, and I mean, all these degrees that we are getting here, people can get it in Ghana. It's just the different perspectives, like the different cultures that you get to interact with, the diversity and the way it makes you think, right? So it's not, and just like being adaptable to a whole new environment, things like that. Those skills are very marketable, so that in the job market, like, you are able to like communicate these kind of skills with people and tell them, hey, I mean, I left my country. It means that I'm adaptable, I'm teamwork, I'm good communication, like things like that. So the difference in the cultures and the way that changes your perspective and shapes your thoughts it's a good quality of studying abroad. So I think that if you get the opportunity to do it, by all means.
And Kelly, I love the way you think. I think having the opportunity, I've had the opportunity to speak with a lot of brilliant
Fred,
minds.
I cannot hear you.
So what
oh
is
my
happening?
God, can everybody hear me? Ben, can you hear me?
How come you
Yeah, I
cannot
can hear you.
How come you,
I
okay,
can't hear Fred.
I see. But Ben, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear Fred.
Let's see if Arabi.
So is it me? Do I just like log out and join
Yeah,
again?
if you could exit and rejoin.
Arabi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
But I cannot hear Arabi.
Okay, so
maybe it's me.
yeah,
So
please exit and rejoin.
maybe
So
I'll just leave and join again.
yes, we'll have we'll take some comments from people who tuned in. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, if you comment, you automatically join the draw that we have every week, and we would be picking one person who the team was going to support through the process. So on YouTube, Rima is saying, wow, I love the perspectives. And then amazing from Eddie, and Miriam is saying the Fred effect. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook, Constance Ban. Social work is seen as one of the most difficult jobs, especially outside Ghana, where people's welfare is very important. Can you do studies? Oh man. Can you study social work with any background of education? That is a very good question. Helen, do you want to quickly answer this question? I think it's from Constance. She's watching us on Facebook. She's asking that, can you study social work with any background of education?
Yes, you can. It only means that you might stay in school for longer than if somebody had like a bachelor's in social work and they want to get a master's in social work. They will go to school for like a year and get their master's. But if you had a bachelor's in another thing, like I had my bachelor's in nursing, I'm in school for 2 years to get the same master's because I don't have like the generalist experience yet. So it only means that you stay in school for longer. But yeah, it doesn't depend on what degree you have. If you can write your essay and put the link between what you have done in the past and how that applies to social work and why you want to get it.
And Arabi, which background got you into social work initially? Which background did you have initially?
Education and accounting.
Okay, so that answers Constance's question. We are moving to Emmanuel. Emmanuel is watching us on Facebook, on YouTube. Great conversation, and thank you. I love the answers Helen is giving. I told you initially that, yeah, podcast over me pressure also. I love the way you think. I've had opportunity to talk to a lot of brilliant minds, but I love how you respond to the questions, especially the one Ben asked, if everybody have to study abroad. All right. Gomez is watching us on Facebook. Can someone with a degree in education apply for this course? I think we've responded to that. Emmanuel Pon is watching us on YouTube. He said, hello, Fred Effect team. Please, I want to know the amount of money paid medicals before the visa interview. Can you respond to this? There's no medicals, right? Did anybody have?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to go for a student visa interview at the US Embassy, there's no medicals. It is when you're going for an immigrant visa interview, that is where medicals are required. Great communication is very important. Rima is watching us. Rima Joy is watching us on YouTube. Joseph is watching us on Facebook. Very informative. I agree with you, Joseph. Great. Eric Marison. Shout outs to Abena Owusu. I don't know what she was saying wow to, but shout outs to Facebook. Abena Owusu. And then Miriam, I'm really learning a lot. Of course, that's the reason why we set up the podcast. If you are tuning in, Silas Atta, shout outs to you. Wow, just like that. All right. May God help us too. I wanted to know if your scholarship came automatically or after your admission, that is when you had to apply or interview for the scholarship.
Yeah, I applied after my admission, so my scholarship did not come with my admission.
All right. So for people holding admissions now, that is their major concern. How did you go about it? Did you have to go to a university's website? How did you end up applying for that specific scholarship? And I understand you don't actually work for your department.
No, I do work for my department.
Okay, great. So talk to us about that. How then did you get the scholarship?
So I had this conversation with Ben, I think, or Arabi.
Right.
I sent an email. An email. And even before I had applied to the program, I attended an info session. So in that information session, I found out that funding does not come with admission, and that after you get admitted, that's when you get the funding, right? So after I got admission, I sent an email. I was like, hey, I just got admitted into the program. What funding opportunities do you have for international students? So once they told me that they had these opportunities and that they would send the application, so then they sent the application and then I was shortlisted for an interview. But also there are different apps that different schools have that once you get admitted into the program, you have their school's email and like the details to get the email. You can log on to those apps like Handshake, where they post like different GA positions outside your school. That you qualify for as an international student. So you just have to make sure you're communicating with admissions and recruitment coordinators and you're finding out you're asking the right questions and getting the right information.
Our guest today is Nurse Kekeli, Helen Kekeli, from a bachelor's in nursing from the University of Ghana to a master's in social work in the United States. My co-host is Arabi Foriwa Mensah, and then Ben, who is in the UK. If you're just tuning in, you're welcome. You're not late. Remember, the session will still be live across all the Fred Effect social media platforms on YouTube, on Facebook, X, and also on Instagram. If you're watching us, just click on the like button. Remember that we've done this for more than half a decade now. So if you go to the previous episodes, there are a lot of people we've had on who have shared different experiences from different backgrounds. If you are somebody who wants to study abroad, these are some of the information, ideas that you have to be listening to. It will shape your thoughts and how you go about the whole application. If people have been through the process you want to go through, you don't have to struggle to get it done. All right. Gilbert is saying study abroad is a choice, but for some of us it's a necessity. Shout out to Gilbert. Gilbert is watching us on YouTube. Yaberma says that I want to study masters in cybersecurity, but I don't know which schools and is suitable and also other funds. So Yabuatin, a Google search or a ChatGPT search will bring up some of the schools. How do you know whether they have scholarship? You email the coordinator of the program, you attend info section, ask about it, and you will be good. All right. Let's see if we have more questions. All right. So somebody was asking about SOFAS. Did you use SOFAS to apply to social work, or you use the university's portal, Helen?
I use the university's portal. I feel like SOFAS is usually for like public health related courses.
Idrisu has this question for you. I just joined for a physician assistant with a degree. When somebody in Ghana say I have degree, it means bachelor's degree. Anyway, can I apply? What GPA is required? Which school is she at now? She doesn't want to talk about the school, which I respect that. But can you address any of these questions?
Physician assistant. Yes, that's a great degree. That's a great bachelor's degree. You definitely have options: public health, social work, depending on what you want. And different other health related, like health management, things like that. There are different other courses depending on the school that you're looking to apply to. But yeah, looking for school is just like Fred said, Google is your friend.
All right. So I thought we should answer this question, and maybe all of us will share our perspectives. Please, if you get admission without funding and you manage to travel to the US to study, can you apply for work off campus to cover up some of part of your tuition? And please, can I talk to Ben privately? Ben will respond to that. Arabi, what do you think? Helen, what do you think?
Arabi, do you want to go first?
No, go.
Okay. So as an international student, you are eligible to work for 20 hours a week in the US, right? Whether you have funding or not. So if you get funding, then that 20 hours a week is the work that you do for the department that give you the funding. But if you don't have funding, then you still can work that 20 hours a week. Just that if you get funding in a particular department, it waives off your tuition. But if you are able to travel without the funding and you work 20 hours a week, I can imagine how much you can get paid in that amount. But how helpful can that be in like funding your tuition and all the other expenses that you would have as an international student here, right? So those are some things to consider. And if you have people from home that are sponsoring you, then of course, by all means, do that. But if you come from a family like my own, then it's things to consider, please.
All right. If you send us a direct message on Instagram, we'll connect you to Ben so you can talk to Ben. Now, can I work off campus? Yes, you can work off campus. How do you work off campus? You have to get legal authorization from your university. So I worked off campus on OPT. I worked at the Governor's Office of Arizona. I schooled at University of Kentucky. That is way off campus. So that is when I was on CPT, which is curricular practical training, which is more or less like an internship. So yes, it gives you an opportunity to work off campus. When you're on OPT, you can work off campus. Now the question is, can you use that to cover part of your tuition? That means that you want to be working and be in school at the same time. There is something we call Day 1 CPT. So Day 1 CPT gives you an opportunity to be schooling and you'll be working full-time as well. So if you have Day 1 CPT, if you have been approved for a CPT, which is curricular practical training, if you've been approved for OPT, it gives you an opportunity to work off campus. But would that be able to cover part of your tuition? It depends on how much your tuition is, and it depends on how much you're making from the job you're doing. But without an authorization, you are not supposed to work off campus. I think Grace would Arabi, you want to talk about that?
No, I think you've answered everything.
Right.
I wanted to touch about the authorization, but you've touched on it, so that's fine.
Grace Ajewa Ampoma is watching us on Facebook. He said, I have loved to work at the hospital since childhood, but life took us on a different field. I have a Bachelor of Education in Early Grade Education with a GPA of 3.4, which is very strong, second class upper from Winneba. Great. I applied for social work for fall intake at Merrimack College, but unfortunately I got rejected. Any suggestions for our sister?
So once you get rejected, one of the things I encourage people to do is reach out to the school and find out what they think you did wrong. Sometimes they would respond, other times they won't. But yeah, reach out to the school, find out what they think you did wrong, so that in your next application you do better, or like you work on that. But also putting all your eggs in one basket, just applying to one school, can be very scary. So next time you want to apply, I think that you should start saving now so you can apply to different schools and have options, right? That's also very helpful. And then please pay attention to the application process, because sometimes it's just the minute mistakes that we make that gets us rejected. But it's you can prevent those things if you pay attention, read the website very well, find out exactly what they are looking for, so that you are able to put in a compelling application. So that's what I think.
So, Grace, if you have a bachelor's degree, I wanted to be sure if you applied for a bachelor's in social work intending to start again, or you're applying for master's in social work. And I have to be honest with you, if you're applying for a master's in social work, a college shouldn't be an institution you should be considering. If you're applying for a master's degree, it should be a university level. For all you know, the college has the social work, but it's an online program. As an international student, you may not be able to do an online program. So look for some of the big universities that have a well-structured and strong social work program. And again, admitting international students. Remember, some programs may have been canceled or something like that. Recently, I was talking to a university and they are making changes to their program. And then, before applying, if you email them, then they will let you know that, oh, we even want to change things about our program, so please don't apply. So sometimes they deny it because 3.4 CGPA, very strong. It's a college, not a big competition. So either the program is being offered online, you didn't know, you didn't talk to them about anything. how is your CV even structured? That is why, some of us are here to support you to structure your documents before applying. Sometimes admission denial is not based on your CGPA or even you did something wrong in your application. There are certain vital information that you should get even before applying. But, we are happy to support you to put in a strong application. With your education background, applying to social work shouldn't be a problem. All right. Great show. Basiru, if I got the name right, watching us on YouTube as well. Beauty Mensa, shout outs to you watching us on Facebook. And then Abena also says, please, is it too late to get funding for fall 2026? Helen, what do you think?
I don't think it's too late. It only depends on what the school's requirements are. So again, reach out to the school to find out. But most schools had their priority deadline, which is the deadline that they will usually use to consider you for scholarships and funding opportunities. Their deadlines were in earlier this year, so like January 15th, February 1st, like things like that. But schools that still have the applications open by this time, reach out to them, find out what funding opportunities are there.
We are about an hour and 30 minutes into the podcast. Thank you for tuning in and being with us by now. Shout outs to Eddie watching us on YouTube. Abena Lisa is also watching us on YouTube as well. All right. Grace is confirming, yes, she applied for masters. Grace, you don't have to apply to only one school. If it is masters, such a college shouldn't be your option. Maybe you need to dig deeper and all that. I don't know if any of you have any questions for Helen again, but I think it's been an amazing conversation. I love the responses you've provided. You're super intelligent. Very intelligent. All right. Any other questions from Ben or Arabi? Arabi, you good?
Yes, I have just a one question. Would be, what have you specialized yet?
So my program is, I don't know how to put it. My program doesn't have a particular specialty. It's called the Advanced Integrated Program. So it's like you can work at every stage of the application of the social work system. So it's either micro, macro, meso, everything. So they teach you to be versatile, right? But when it comes to my electives, I'm interested in older adults. So I take my electives in gerontology and clinical practice. So those are the two electives I took because I'm interested in the hospital environment.
In the hospital. Okay.
But there is no specific specialty for my program.
When I was in the social work field, because I'm also a teacher, I did school social work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, if you've specialized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Ben.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I will throw two more questions then.
Araba, can you hear Ben? I cannot hear Ben.
Oh no, I can hear Ben.
There's always a time Helen cannot hear. Helen, can you hear me now?
I know.
You cannot hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Fred.
Okay.
I just can't hear Ben.
Okay.
You can't hear Ben.
Nah. All right. So maybe Helen would have to exit and rejoin, but I think we are wrapping up. Ben, what was the question so that we could probably communicate to her?
Yeah, I just want to know the advice she has for the young ladies in Ghana.
Yeah, obviously, Helen, there are a lot of people watching us now somewhere in Bolibamboy who looks up to you and go like, yo, I want to be like this lady. What advice would you give to, let's talk about your young self. Like, I don't know if this question was asked, but if knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently back in level 100 in University of Ghana or back home when you were starting the whole process? There's this young girl watching you who wants to be like Helen, wants to have the opportunity to study abroad. What would be your advice to this person?
Relationships matter more than you think. And if I talk about relationships, like people, once I say relationships, people think it's boyfriend, girlfriend. Please, it's not boyfriend, girlfriend.
But that one too is important though.
Yes, that one too is very important. But when I talk about relationships, I mean like the connections that you have with people that matter.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like you doesn't matter so much, but who likes you matters a lot. So you make sure that the right people like you. And Another thing I want to say is that if you want to have a voice in the room, you have to be excellent at what you do. So anything that you find your hand doing, do it well. Do it very well. Do it like nobody else can do it. And do it like it's only you in the world. Because people, once you start listening to people, they tend to bring your zeal down, and you don't want anybody to do that to you. And another thing I want you to have is confidence. So when you wake up in the morning, talk to yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself all the things that you want to be and keep reminding yourself of it. Say it out loud. Say it into the universe till it happens, and keep putting in the work, because these days a lot of people believe that somebody is coming to help them, but nobody's coming from anywhere to help you. It's only you against you and the world. So make sure that you're putting in the work at every stage. And an example is that if you are in class, make sure that you are that student that's outstanding. Learn, like, make sure that you're putting in the work, so you can be excellent at what you do. And then when you talk, your voice carries weight.
Awesome. Hopefully I pronounced the name right. Naftali. I don't want to measure the second one, but what are the likely, not lucky, questions to look out for as a candidate in waiting for an interview for admission into a master's in rehabilitation counseling?
So one of the things I think that they will ask you is how your past experiences relate to this current program that you want to come into. So make sure that you find the link between what you have done in the past and how that applies to this current thing that you want to do. Another thing they ask a lot is about time management, because some of these programs, especially in counseling, you realize that you have to be in field placement, you have to be going to classes, and then maybe if you have funding, you have to be doing your GA positions or like research and things like that. So how have you managed time in the past, and how do you think you have a strategy that can help you manage time now in this current program? So those two things are things that you want to look out for. And another thing is conflict management, like leadership skills, team, and then communication, things like that. So you want to ask yourself question. Another cheat code I'll give you is that put this same question that you have asked me in ChatGPT and let it develop like questions and answers for you to go through. 9 out of 10 times, some of those questions will appear during your interview.
Awesome. It's a great time to have this conversation. For people preparing for visa interview, you were asked 2 questions. And when you are in the queue, you notice other people getting interviewed. What do you think? I mean, generically, why do you think people get denied at the embassy?
One of the major things I think is the problem is funding. Because if you don't have funding, then it means you have to go the extra mile to explain yourself on why this degree is very important and why you're spending that much money to leave your country to a whole new country. So it's mostly, denials are mostly funding. Barely will you see someone who has full funding get denied. And because visa officers believe that if you have full funding, it means you might have done some good homework to get to this point, right? So funding is a very good thing to have when you're applying for visa. And if you don't have that, it doesn't mean that it's impossible to get a visa if you don't have funding, but it only means that you have to go the extra mile to explain yourself further, to prove to them that this degree is very useful to you and your community, and spending that much money is worth it. So yeah, I think it's funding, but also maybe like the things that you put in your DS-160, very, very important as well.
Well, one of the things people struggle with is when they don't know anybody at the institution they are going to. How were you able to get airport pickup, accommodation, stuff like that? What were some of the tricks that worked for you? You mentioned, shout out to the brother, the person who helped you with the flight ticket. How were you able to get people to pick you up and so that you not spend a lot of money earlier, getting accommodation, temporary accommodation before getting your place? How did that work out for you?
Well, just to say, JJOM is not in my school. The one who bought my flight tickets is not in my school.
Okay.
JJOM, shout outs to you again. I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much. But the person I knew someone in my school. So that's, for me, that's different. But also I realized that people who didn't know people here already had like reached out to churches in the community. So like most of those churches have like social media platforms. So if you are moving to a new place, if you're a Christian, reach out to the church and be like, hey, are you able to help with pickups? Like, because I realize a lot of churches do that. They put buses at the airport to pick up new students. They give you accommodation for the first few months till you find your footing. So the church is a good community, but also your school definitely has an international community. So reach out to the International Students and Scholar Services, ISSS. And usually on your I-20, you have the contact person's name and email there. Reach out to them. Hey, this is the time I want to come. They do airport pickups. They help with accommodation for the first few months, things like that. So yeah.
What was difficult to adjust to? The weather, the food, the accent. What was difficult to get used to?
I think it's the food, because I don't like a lot of sugar. I'm not a sweet tooth. So it was really hard getting used to the food, because I mean peanut butter has sugar, tomato paste has sugar, like everything has sugar. So it was just the food for me. And I like the cold weather, so I'm not complaining.
Now, I want you and Arabi to give me a recipe. Like, how do you manage to use the sugary peanut butter for peanut butter soup?
So I don't use the sugary one. There's one at Kroger that's very, very good. It's simply natural or something like that. It doesn't have sugar in it. So that's what I use.
Arabi, what recipe there? What's your recipe? How do you
I
do?
don't cook. I don't cook.
You don't cook, you don't clean. Anyway.
I don't cook. I don't clean. Oh, but I've had one from Ghana. I'm doing kaka. If it get finished, I just go to the African market, because the first time I tried the one here, I didn't like it. It was so sugary. So yeah. But you know me, I don't normally cook. I don't cook.
So, Helen, the interesting thing about the US is Kroger is not everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you go to, let's say, around Pennsylvania, there it's either Acme or Wegman. Even northern, if you go to Ohio, southern Ohio, you have Kroger, Athens, Columbus, those places. But if you go to Cleveland, Akron, those places, they don't have Kroger. If you go to Arizona, they call it Fry's or something. When I was in Colorado, they call it a different name. But it could be like a similar thing. Like, Kroger has this fresh stuff. It could be a similar shop. There are some places that you find Kroger when you go to other places. It's only Walmart that is almost everywhere. But if so I love Kroger.
I mean, I've not visited a lot of states, so I don't know. But yeah, that's very new. I did not think that Kroger was not everywhere. Okay, now I know. Yeah, but I mean, Walmart has that too. You just have to look, and probably they will write no added sugar on it.
What's your favorite restaurant so far?
I like Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, everybody, because of their rolls?
Yes. Yeah.
Let me say it here. Fred took me there. Okay.
I
want to tell you.
It's 2 years already. No, it's almost 3 years. Wow.
Yeah.
My first time going there, it was Fred who took me there.
I love their rolls.
It's really worth it.
Yeah. Like, that's the peg, right? Bringing some home is the peg.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you don't know what we are talking about, Texas Roadhouse is not a road, it's not a house. That's the name of the restaurant. Steak, stuff like that, and they make some Ghana type bread. Opportunity to buy you what check it Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, more free advert, Anyway, so who do you want to say thank you to? You've been talking about the friend who helped you out with flight ticket, but genuinely, people, parents, who do you want to say thank you to who have been supportive and continue to support your journey so far?
Yeah, I want to really say thank you to Serum. Serum, thank you so much. I don't have the words, but thank you. And I want to say thank you to J-Job. I want to say thank you to my family. My family, amazing. I want to say thank you to the community that I have here. Autumn, Keely, Ali, all my friends, Addie, Scarlett. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. You people make this place look like home. and feel like home for me, and I truly appreciate that. I want to thank my classmates. I want to thank just everybody. Thank you so much for being helpful. Yeah,
it's been a great session. We have been speaking with Ness Kelly. Her TikTok handle is ness.kelly, right? Am I right?
yes.
So check out her TikTok video. She happens to work in the office of admission, so she has been applying. Now she has an insider, so she gives tips, ideas, and I love how she makes her videos. Check her out on TikTok and follow and be part of the family. It's been a great conversation. I really appreciate you. Remember, the section will be live across all the Fred Effect social media platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and obviously on TikTok. That's it. Any final words from anyone, and then we wrap up?
Obviously, my final words would be Lemfi. Download Lemfi, LEMFI. Use my promo code ARABEE, ARABEE. If you're in the US, UK, Canada, and European countries, please kindly download Lemfi and send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, and other supporting African countries. Send your first $100. Lemfi gives you $20 cash back for free. If you're in Ghana, tell your family, friends, lovers, acquaintances, colleagues in the UK, Canada, US, and these European countries to send money to you using Lemfi. It's so fast, so quick. It just comes to your Momo or your bank account. No charges, zero extra fees, and you get your money in less than a minute. So download Lemfi and use the promo code ARABEE, ARABEE. So Ness Kelly, your niece again. What's the name of her niece again?
Anaya.
So Anaya, I'm saying this on behalf of your rich auntie. Rich auntie is going to download Lemfi and send you money today. All right.
I have a soft spot for the Voltarian language. Can you use that to say subscribe to the Fred Effect YouTube channel?
Yes, and I the one I speak is Tongu, so I will try to speak in the Tongu language.
Right.
Miokata mi advise subscribe to Fred Effect or YouTube page.
I see. I need to memorize how to see that. Anyway, it's been a great section. So a lot of people were in the comments like, "You're smart." They want to get in touch with you. I spoke about your TikTok. Are there other ways people can DM you?
Yeah, send me an Instagram DM. My Instagram handle is Helen_Kekeli. Send me an Instagram DM.
Awesome. Ben, any final words? Then we wrap up for today.
I just want to re-echo the comment of a guy who said study abroad is a choice, but some of us is a necessity. When he said that, a lot of things came in mind, and I was like, yes, it could be a necessity. Imagine your vision is to become a pilot, and in your country you don't even have international air.
But the unfortunate thing is that we have the sound of the baby at the background. Social media hates that. They will cut us off. So that's it. So we're wrapping up. Thank you very much, Arabi. Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you very much, Helen, for coming on. Really appreciate you. So that's it. It's a wrap. So if you're just tuning in, it's been the Study Abroad podcast with the Fred Effect team. My co-host was Ben and Arabi, and our guest was Helen. It's been a great conversation. I've really enjoyed the conversation. Sometimes it's just refreshing to have brilliant minds on to talk to you about the same process you've been talking about all the time. Anyway, so remember the Fred Effect team has a collaboration with Argo Visa. Argo Visa is a team of ex-visa officers, and they will help you prepare for your visa interview. Support the Fred Effect team. Use the link I'm sharing on the screen to schedule a one-on-one section with Argo Visa. It's rb.gy/KU72VB, and then type it in your web browser. Then you'll be able to schedule a meeting with Argo Visa. It's been a great session. Remember, if you want to talk to the Fred Effect team, it's simple. Just send us a direct message on Instagram. We'll be happy to respond to you. We work on undergraduate applications for free. So send us your high school qualification. We'll let you know if we can support you to work on the application. Send us your transcript if you want to apply for master's or PhD on Instagram. We'll be happy to help you. One of the most important things that we now do is that, people struggle getting help when they want to make some payments, like maybe visa application fee, enrollment deposit, service fee, tuition deposit, and all that. Talk to the Fred Effect team on Instagram. We help you make this payment fast, secure, and reliable. The name has been the Fred Effect. Please be positive and know that everything will be fine. I will see you when I see you.